Rock Nelson with us, the Rock Report, something that we share virtually every Monday. And you are going to pick up one of the gentlemen that I really enjoy visiting with, and he's a VP, but I just consider him good old Daniel.
Daniel Scholl, SDSU, South Dakota State University. Daniel is the Vice President of Research and Economic Development. Good morning, Daniel. How are you?
Good morning, Rock and Bill. It's good to be with you.
Well, we appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. And I've had the pleasure of meeting you a few times. Your knowledge is extreme in regards to ag. And talking, we're going to have to shuttle along fairly fast on the program because of limited time. But SDSU is a land grant university. What does that mean?
You know, the land grant story is a really exciting story. In the 1860s, Congress and President Abraham Lincoln, in a stroke of brilliant leadership, set aside a grant of land in every state based on measures of the size of the state. And the purpose of those grants of land were for the states to monetize those and use those resources to build a university for the state, for the common person, for people other than just the elites who up to that point had very little access to higher education. And they built on that agriculture research, engineering research, and then ultimately the state land grant university state extension system that we know so well as the home of 4-H in each state. And so South Dakota State University is South Dakota's land grant university in existence since 1881.
What is the enrollment SDSU in Brookings?
We're currently at 11,500 students.
Wow. And what subjects does SDSU research specialize in?
So our research, while land grant university research has an aura and reputation in agriculture, to serve society, it's really much broader than that. Our research, of course, in agriculture is very well developed, but there's also a real substantive and impactful research in engineering, in the natural sciences, which includes microbiology, biochemistry, physiology, in pharmacy and pharmaceutical sciences, in nursing, especially in the delivery of rural health care to populations that aren't close to a major medical delivery system. In education, human sciences, we train teachers and exercise physiologists, and then, of course, in the social sciences, something about our social science research that some people might not think about is some of our new faculty are partnering with faculty who have established research programs to study the uptake of precision agriculture technology and the impact of that on rural communities in South Dakota. So our precision agriculture research, for example, which is really agriculture and engineering research, even extends out into the social sciences.
Of which we touched on a little bit when I was privileged to bring with Mike Saba, the Egyptian delegation a few weeks ago up to SDSU and had you present up there on SDSU's behalf.
Right.
What projects extend beyond Brookings that you get involved in? We've got about 3 minutes left.
Sure. You know, agriculture is statewide, and so is agriculture research. In different parts of the state, different production systems predominate. For example, in the western part of the state, extensive grassland production systems predominate. And so, in the western part of the state, that research is grazing livestock-oriented research. But in addition, there's some farming that occurs in the western part of the state. And so we just recently launched a new research farm outside of the community of Sturgis to provide knowledge and information and testing results for crop production in the western part of the state. But you have the same linkage between local agriculture and agriculture research in every other part of the state as well, and certainly heavily on the eastern side of the state.
You've got 500 faculty members on board up there at SDSU. Can you provide us with a couple examples, successful examples of recent projects that your department has worked with?
Right. One of the things that we're very excited is the impact of South Dakota State University research on the South Dakota economy. And several years ago, two professors of ours from entirely different departments collaborated to create a solution for increasing the nutritive value and the concentration of protein in soybean meal. And that idea has been commercialized, has been licensed to a startup company who just built a plant, a production plant adjacent to South Dakota soybean processors in Volga. And they are using this licensed technology coming from research to produce a fish meal replacement, which will have a very high value, add a high dollar value to the soybean meal that goes into this process, and thereby generating more value, more revenue for South Dakota soybean production. And that's a success story because this commercialization has brought in a large amount, tens of millions of dollars, of outside investment that is building the South Dakota economy and will provide high-paying jobs as production ramps up. And we're just on the cusp of that right now. So that's an exciting success story.
Folks, what he is stating is, I'm familiar with Mark Lukey, the CEO of Prairie Aqua Tech, the company that Daniel's referring to, and I've toured it, and it's phenomenal. And Mark and his staff are in the process of laying groundwork to begin exporting this product worldwide. So it's something, it's a fact. It's happening right in the state of South Dakota. Is SDSU research growing?
Rock, it is. We're excited. During the last fiscal year, the amount of research that we did, as measured by the dollars that are used to carry out research activities, that grew by 6.5%. If you grow research by 6.5% to 7% every year for 10 years, that will almost result in a doubling of the research activity at South Dakota State University, and that comes back to feeding into South Dakota's economy. So it's pretty exciting growth.
And as our time is closing, folks, what is your website up there, Daniel?
Thank you for asking. It's sdstate.edu. And you'll come to the main landing page, and along the top, click on Research, and you'll go right to our research stories. And at the bottom of that, you can access our monthly newsletters and see a wide variety of up-to-date research reports. Interesting reading.
Folks, I want to have a big thank you for Daniel for taking time out of his busy schedule. And as I preach to the listening audience every Monday, it's when you export and even research or bringing in foreign exchange students or sending students overseas, it's all about impacting South Dakota's economy. It's outside money coming in, and the more professors that Daniel and his staff accrue over the years of their research, they have families, they have to purchase groceries, automobiles, clothing, school supplies, etc. Daniel, thanks so much. I really appreciate your time.
Rock, it was a real pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity.